Hello and namaste to all of you. This is Javin Chalu Singh from Department of Physiotherapy and Diagnosis from Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. In previous sections, we were talking about energy metabolism and nutrition. So far, we talked about the calorific value, our respiratory question, and then we came across your RDA and SDA and the energy that is required during the physical activity. Later, we talked about the importance of carbohydrates in diet. So, about the dietary carbohydrates and sucrose, and the most important component, carbohydrate component in our diet, that is starch. And later, then we came across one of the most important component, that is your dietary fibers. And after carbohydrates, we went through the nutrition importance of lipids, which includes your triglycerides and cholesterol that are important for your heart diseases. Then later we talked about the importance of proteins, of which essential amino acids are most important. And then we came across the nitrogen balance. What are the factors that affect nitrogen balance and how you maintain the nitrogen balance? For today, we'll be talking about the nutritional values. Or we can say about the nutritional indices. The first thing comes as how you assess the nutritional values. Whipple, a scientist who won a Nobel Prize in 1934, introduced us about the plasmapheresis. So, and as a means to assess the nutritional value of proteins. Plasma from animals was taken and albumin was removed. So, the rest of the plasma was introduced back into the animal. So, a plasmapheresis is one of the general techniques which is used nowadays, in which the blood from the body is removed. Like when you need a certain component to be introduced or to be transfused in a person. So the donor, he doesn't need to donate the whole blood. So through plasmapheresis, they take out your blood and remove the essential component that is required to be donated, and the rest other components, they are transfused back into the donor's blood body. So plasma was taken from the animals and albumin was removed, and the rest of the plasma was introduced back into the animal. Now, the time for generation for original level of albumin in plasma was taken as the parameter of quality of the food given to the animal. So, since all the albumin is removed already, the rest production of albumin will depend on the diet that is given to the animal. Now, the modern, easier way to assess nutritional value of protein is to give that protein as the only source of nitrogen to that animal and assess the weight gain. So, the protein content of various food items we'll see later. Now, the nutritive, the in about the nutritive value and the indices uh, are used to assess the nutritional value of protein. So, the important terms that come next is your biological value of protein. So, the ratio between the amount of nitrogen that is retained and nitrogen absorbed during the specific interval. So, that is your biological value. And now, biological value is calculated by the ratio of retained nitrogen and absorbed nitrogen into 100. Now, suppose there is 127 mg of protein, that is A, let us suppose that's A, and it was consumed by rats. We basically use either rats or rabbit as our experimental animals. So, here in this case, if we're using rats and we have introduced protein A in 127 mgs, and 4 mgs recovered in feces, and 24 mg of protein was seen in urine. Then since amount ingested is 127 mg, amount that was absorbed was 127 minus 4, and then amount that was retained was 123 minus my 24 mgs. That was what seen in your urine. So total that is left is your 99 mgs. Now, therefore, 99, that is, which I said the formula was retained nitrogen. That 99 is your retained value, and your divided by your absorbed nitrogen. That is your absorbed value was 123. So, retained upon my absorbed into 100 is your 81%. So, here in the case of this protein, biological value is 81%. Now, what is net protein utilization? So net protein utilization, the formula stands here is retained nitrogen divided by intake of nitrogen into 100. So let us suppose for that A protein, nitrogen protein utilization is equal to 99 divided by 127 into 100, that is 78%. And same case like for protein B, it's 4.5 divided by 100 into 100, so it's 4.5%. So the net protein utilization is better indexed than biological value to denote nutritional quality and availability of your proteins. Now, nutritive value for different proteins is different, which at the end I'll be discussing with you. So what is net dietary protein value? So this is this net dietary protein value is used to assess both quantity and quality of proteins in diet. So NDPV is equal to intake of nitrogen into 6.25 into NPV, that is your net protein utilization. Next thing that comes up is your protein efficiency ratio. So PER, it is the weight gain per gram of protein taken, and the essential amino acid content, it can also be expressed in terms of chemical score, that is mg of amino acid per grams of protein, and by comparing the chemical score of different proteins with egg protein, which is taken as a reference protein, and the essential amino acid content that will be assessed. Now, what are limiting amino acids? So there are certain proteins that are deficient in one or more essential amino acids. So if a particular protein is fed to a young rat and as the only source of protein, so it will fail to grow because the amino acid is said to be limiting amino acid. Now, the limiting amino acid is that which limits the weight gain and when a protein is supplied to that animal. So there is a term called mutual supplementation. So that a protein limiting amino acid condition is can be conditioned. It can be overcome through mutual supplementation. So if by taking the mixture of proteins in the diet, you can overcome the need of this limiting amino acid condition. And mutual supplementation of proteins is achieved by a mixture of different sources of proteins or different types of amino acids. And for example, in case of our pulses, there is deficiency of methionine, whereas in case of your rice, there's deficiency of lysine. That's why we give rice and pulses together in our Indian diets. So whereas other example is that of the cereals. So cereals, they are deficient in your lysine, but they are rich in methionine. So when you need lysine, when you need lysine, so you can give cereals and rice together. So in order to compensate for the deficiency of lysine. Therefore, there is a combination of pulses and cereals given. That is, your chapati dal or your rice dal is given in diet. So, in order to compensate, for the deficiency of a particular type of amino acid, so it's called a complete diet. This combination will cancel each other's deficiency and become equivalent to plus first class proteins. Now, the supplementation effect of proteins may be seen in weight gain in animals. Now, in case of deficiency, there are deficiency malnutritions that take place. So that we'll be looking in the next sections. Until then, let's see what are the various nutritive values of proteins. If the source is your egg, then biological value is 90. Your NPV will be that is your net protein utilization will be 91. Your PER, that is your protein efficiency ratio, is 4.5, and chemical score stands 100. So, in case of your milk, biological value will be 84. Your net protein utilization is 75. Your protein efficiency ratio is a 3.0, and chemical score is 65. Same in case of meat, the biological value is 80. Your NPV is 76. PER is 2.8, and chemical score is 70. And if the source is fish, biological value is 85, NPV is 72, PER is 3.0, and chemical score is 60. Same in case of rice, the biological value is 64, your NPV value is 57, your PER value is 2.0, and chemical score is 60. In case of wheat, biological value is 58, NPV value is 47, PER value is 1.7, and chemical score stands 42. In case of your Bengal gram, the biological value is 58, NPV value is 47, and your PER value is 1.7. So total chemical score stands 44. In case of a groundnut, the biological value is 54. Your NPU value stands 47, 45, and the PER value is 1.7. So the total chemical score stands 44. In case of your soya beans, the biological value is 64. Your NPU value is 54. Your PER value stands 2.0, and chemical score stands 57. The various limiting amino acids and proteins. In case of your rice, the limiting amino acid is lysine and threonine. They are protein which are supplemented along with the rice in order to rectify the deficiency is your pulses. So you give pulses and rice. We eat pulses and rice generally. So that is because we need to supplement the amino acids that are deficient. So in case of wheat, again, lysine and threonine are deficient. So pulses are again given in order to rectify the deficiency. In case of gelatin, tryptophan is deficient, and milk proteins are given along with the gelatin. So to rectify the deficiency. In case of zein, tryptophan and lysine is deficient, and milk proteins, meat proteins are given to rectify the deficiency, as they're in a sufficient amount present in meat. In case of tapioca, phenylalanine and tyrosine are present. So fish proteins are used to rectify the deficiency. In case of Bengal gram, cysteine and methionine are present. So cereals are given to rectify the deficiency. This is all about the amino acids and nutritional values. So if you have any doubts regarding that or any previous topic, you can contact me. So until then, take care and goodbye.